What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 2XTheGrind. It's kind of a bit of a Groundhog Day for me and Paige right now because we actually sat down and recorded this yesterday. We got through, I would honestly, it was just under 2 hours.
Yeah, it was a long one.
It was a really long one. And I mean, it tilts me.
We still don't know what happened.
I'm really, really tilted about it because it was a really great conversation.
Yeah.
I was really excited about it because, you know, we were really hype about everything we were talking about.
Major 5,
Don't worry,
Champs,
we're gonna bring
Infinite.
the same energy today. Don't panic. Don't panic. Coffee is gonna get us through, but it is frustrating, and you know, we're frustrated that you guys don't get the episode bright and early like usual. Yeah, so really annoying.
Absolutely.
First and foremost, it's good to be back.
Yeah.
It's weird saying this because we said it yesterday. We're going to be saying this a lot. It's going to be a lot of repeating, but it's okay. You know, we have taken 2 weeks off. We didn't want to take 2 weeks off, but unfortunately just personal things kind of cropped up and you know, like, you know how it goes. It's been pretty difficult, very, very busy, a lot of work. It's been a little bit tough. So, you know, we're back though. We're in a comfortable place now. Like we're going to be getting the episodes out regularly once again. No more breaks for a while.
Back to the
but every now
regular
and again,
program.
I think it's okay to have a break.
Well, it's just understandable because we it got a little crazy.
It did.
We had a infinite flight test on the same weekend of Major 5, and then the next day we had Frosty and Jenna,
Brad and Jenna.
you know, first time we've had company that isn't like my parents, basically.
Yeah.
Stay over the house, which was really awesome. It was great to see them, but obviously for podcast sake, it was very difficult, and we were running on fumes. Yeah. Because I mean,
they were only here for a little tiny bit, so you wanted to squeeze in as much as possible with them. It was lovely, actually.
And you were kind of getting up at the same time as me, but with Infinite, I was getting up 6:30 every day
and
to go stream,
very late as well.
And you were doing the same exact thing because you were getting the guest room ready for them. We had a guest room, and we were like, you know what? We had a game room that is way bigger than the guest room that we had.
Yeah, we
like,
transitioned downstairs.
So then we're like, you know what?
To the basement.
You know, no better time than right now. And it just so happened, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was a real squeeze because I wanted, you know, when my mates come over, when our best mates come over, like, we want them to feel comfortable and to have a really nice experience and a nice time, especially the first time, and it's our first home, you know, it's all that. And, you know, I was getting up the same time as you, like 6 a.m. before work, so I still had the major on.
Yeah, you had the major to do.
And I was doing it. I was literally doing construction before work in the bedroom, like getting stuff done. You know what? I should have taken before and after pictures, right? I actually think I have some before pictures, to be fair.
I hope you do.
But what I managed to do in like 2 to 3 days.
Insane.
It's actually weird.
Literally insane.
I should be on Netflix with my own like makeover show, like in 3 days, like showing what you can do in 3 days.
You could do it.
Kind of cool.
You definitely could do it.
I was very impressed with that.
I tried to help as much as I could. Obviously with Infinite, I didn't get to help a whole lot, but I appreciate you because you didn't ask me. You didn't ask me to do a lot.
No, but I asked you to spackle a couple of holes, and you were fantastic.
Yeah, spackled. We built the bed.
Yeah, we built the bed together in the
evenings.
So it was like I'd like do stuff before work while he was streaming.
Yeah. I was streaming
after
like,
I worked
like 14-hour days.
11 p.m. at night after, I'm knackered, but together we then get some more stuff done before we passed out.
I'd stop streaming at like 1 or like 12. You know, I'd start streaming 7 a.m., be done by 12. Yeah. And then go upstairs, work on it, and then go to sleep and do it again. And that was for 5 days.
It was a little bit intense, and just, you know, other things have cropped up. Obviously, with Champs coming up and stuff, it's all been a bit wild. There's been a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, Major 5 and COVID outbreak. And all, and, you know, it's been a moment. It's been crazy
for how difficult it was. It was worth it because the room came out great. We had a great time with Brad and Jenna being
way
here.
Too much.
Yeah, we're back on the fitness ground again. We slacked for a couple days.
For a couple of days, but tell you what, it's not even that
bad.
When
you got company here, you got it.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not like we eating crap.
Oh no.
Did you hear me stutter then? Because I wasn't sure if I should say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, crap's fine. You know, we weren't eating crap, so it was actually like good food. It's obviously not fantastic, but it's not like, you know, it's not like fast food. It's not like terrible
100%.
food. But no, it was lovely. It was lovely. Before we get into what we're talking about, a couple of little things, couple of little housekeeping things I want to quickly say. First of all, guys, thank you so much for bearing with us. I'm sorry we didn't get an episode out early this morning. Trust me, I was very close to punching my monitor, even though it's not my monitor's fault, and I realise that now. It's the SD card, which I have lit on fire. Just joking, I haven't. However...
You wish you could, though.
I really do. I want to snap it into a million pieces. I was so annoyed. But the other thing is we're doing audio only today just because of, you know, I'm a little bit worried, and I think maintaining just one form of recording much right easier. Now, because usually we record on 2 SD cards, one audio, one video. So we're just going to do one, and I'm monitoring it very, very closely. It's right next to me, just to make sure that we can get an episode out for you guys today. But next week, it'll be back to video and audio. But if you are in our iTunes family, if you're in our Spotify family, then... do you know what? Forget it. Don't worry about what I just said, because you don't watch us anyway. You listen, and we love that. So
we've been going on viewers much. On viewers, listeners, yeah. And
welcome to the radio.
Yeah. We've been going up listeners on Spotify and iTunes, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. You know, we love having loads of different platforms to be on as well. But yeah, it's cool. We'll bring the visuals back to you guys next week as well. But let's talk about the coffee. That's the last thing, a little bit of housekeeping. So today we're actually trying a coffee. I would say trying. It's a kind of a staple really here in the US. You find it in every supermarket. It's called Cafe Bustelo. We've tried it before you say anything. And you may recognize it. It's the big red containers that you see in the supermarket. You can also get small.
It's yellow.
Oh, sorry, yellow. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? I need some more coffee. Sorry, it's yellow and red.
How did you get that mixed up? It is yellow and red, but it is literally just completely yellow.
Do you know what happened then?
Because you saw the red.
I can literally tell you what just happened.
Okay.
As I'm saying it, I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
In my head, so I'm speaking. So my brain goes on autopilot, allows me to speak. And then in my brain, I'm having like sub thoughts going, it is yellow and red technically. Yeah. And so for some reason, my brain just goes red. Yeah. It's so weird. Anyway, like literally all just happened in a split second.
Yep.
Incredible. It's a big yellow containers, or the small yellow containers that have a bit of red on them as well. Cafe Bustelo, we've had it before. We've had their ground coffee, but today we're trying their espresso ground coffee. So a little bit stronger. And yeah, I've definitely had it before. I'm not gonna lie, I've had it before. We haven't tried it on the channel yet so far, but it is Cafe Bustelo espresso ground coffee, extra fine grind with a rich, full bodied taste, and it's 100% pure coffee, just as we like it. Funny word, espresso, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Some people I've heard say espresso. What do you say?
I say espresso now, but when I was younger, I definitely threw the X in there.
Yeah, I did as well. I used to spell exercise wrong as well. Did you ever spell exercise wrong? I used to really, really struggle with that when I was younger, like little.
Yeah, I still think I might spell it wrong. I'm not sure.
Because isn't it EXC? Exercise. Oh no, I've got it wrong again.
You got it in my head now, I'll be honest with you.
No, sorry. It's EXERC. Is it wrong? Oh my God, I still struggle. I still struggle with it to this day.
You know what's funny is if I typed it out, I would spell it right. But the fact that I don't have my phone,
I think it's EXC.
I think it might be, but I also don't stand by that statement at all. Are you gonna look it up?
I'm gonna Google it.
Okay, go ahead and Google it. You had to bring this up.
I know. Well, it's interesting, and there's nothing wrong with not knowing stuff. Like it's a very normal thing.
Yeah, that's true. You're not wrong about that. But I mean, I guess that's the point of Google nowadays. You just Google search stuff you don't know.
Yeah, so I just spelt it completely wrong on Google. You don't even want to see this. I'm not going to even indulge you in that. But it's spelt EXERCISE, which is kind of what I said somewhere in the middle of me spelling it about 1 billion times.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the 5 versions that you said.
Yeah, it's one of the 5. That's pretty good. That's good odds.
You know those, like, when you say a word too often, you get, like, confused on it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That word is not, tell me it's not confusing. It's confusing.
It isn't, but then if you say it enough, it is. Make sense?
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, it's the same with, espresso is a little bit easier, but I definitely used to say espresso. Anyway, what the hell am I talking about? Right. Anyway, I'm going to try this coffee today. So I'm going to take a little sip, and we're going to get into some of the topics. Can't even speak.
Full disclosure, I had the coffee yesterday. I did not have the coffee today.
You're not drinking it today.
No,
I am drinking it today, however. But anyway, let's get into it. LVP's a little tired today, so bear with if I stutter or just say some weird stuff. Just bear with me. Not that that's kind of abnormal for me, is it?
They don't have to watch you, like, drop coffee.
Oh, just wait. I've got an analogy coming later.
Are you going to try to do the same analogy?
Oh, you flipping bet I'm doing the same analogy. It's incredible. No, don't spoil it.
Oh, I won't.
Don't spoil it. Because we have spoilers of our own episode because we recorded it yesterday and then failed.
Yeah.
So, okay. Right, listen up.
I technically didn't fail.
Well, you're trying to blame it on me now?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, really? Why?
Bit.
What, you think I took it out too soon or something?
Like, I don't know what you did, but I did what I always do. I sat here and I talked, and usually it goes up plenty.
Yeah, you sit there and talk, and then you leave all the editing to me.
I know, because you're so amazing. That's why.
Anyway, folks, we're going to get into a couple topics here today. We decided from yesterday, we had quite a bit of a waffle. Yesterday, we really kind of waffled on a little bit about, the teams and stuff.
What?
Why
waffle? What are you talking about?
You never heard that?
No.
What?
What are you talking? Is that really a saying?
Yeah, that you waffle on. Yes. Why is that weird?
Are you being serious?
I'm being deadly serious.
All right.
What do you think it means then?
I mean, I get what it means.
You get what it means.
Yeah, but like I've just never heard it before.
You've never heard
you guys,
that? So British, I guess.
If you are on YouTube listening, please post below and tell me if you've heard that before. Because is it a UK thing or
it's a UK thing. It's like a slang in the UK. You waffle.
Can I also say this real quick?
Yeah, it's like knackered. Do you say knackered here?
No, but I know what it is because of obviously being the UK. It's fair enough if it's a UK saying. That's fine.
Yeah.
So never mind. But I want to say this real quick because obviously this is probably around the time that we still have our most listeners because it's still early on. Champs coming up, aka Champs tomorrow.
Yes.
Post below who you think is going to win. We're going to talk about champs later on, but post below who you think is going to win. If you get it correct, LVP is going to read every single name
that got it right. And whatever you said, your comment, unless it's rude.
No, I think you should just say the person's name.
I'm going to be reading.
You're going to be here for like an hour.
Doesn't matter.
All right, fine.
What, are you trying to say that many people are going to get it right?
Yeah.
Because honestly, it's a toss-up. Right, let's get into it.
All right.
So first topic, obviously, is going to be champs. But we're kind of doing this in a bit of a different way today. Like I said, we waffled on a bit yesterday. We're going to have some spicy takes. We're going to be straight up. We're going to explain ourselves, but not to the degree where it's like a genuine major discussion over a small point like we usually do. We're going to be straight to the point, very direct, give our take, and kind of move on with it. So
means we're actually going to go through me.
We're going to go through Major 5 first. Major 5 was nuts.
Yeah.
It was nuts in so many ways. It was
one
really
for
fun.
The books.
It was one for the books. It was super fun. It was exciting. It had me on my toes the whole time. Probably my favorite major.
Because when you do your broadcast, you're obviously standing. So were you actually on your toes the entire time?
You think you're so funny, don't you?
I thought that was really good.
You think wait for my analogy, people. Now.
You didn't think that was good?
It was very good.
Thank you.
It was very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Got to keep you on your toes.
I'm sat down now.
I wish this video was on so they could have seen the look I gave you when I said that.
He's looking at me like a little cheeky little school kid or something.
No, Major 5 was incredible.
Yeah, Major 5 was pretty damn insane. And we're actually going to look right now at the journey of Rocker because they do meet a lot of teams, and we're also going to discuss some of the teams that kind of got bumped down, etc. Are you yawning again?
Stop calling on my yawns.
He was yawning. I can hear them. So can everyone else. He was doing this yesterday.
I don't think they'd hear it. And then you just let it. I know, but just let it go. Don't worry about it.
Let it go? You are letting it go. You're letting the breath out of your lungs. You're letting it go.
I had a yawn.
I know. It's okay. It's okay. Are you tired?
I'm good.
You good? Okay. You want a bit of coffee?
No,
Cafe Bustelo?
I've had too much caffeine today.
Yeah, you have had a lot of caffeine. I don't understand how you're yawning. To be fair, yawning also does mean you might need oxygen in your lungs. Anyway, we're going to look at the journey of Rocker, see who they bumped down. We're going to discuss a lot of the teams, and then we'll move on to the champs bracket and discuss anyone we've missed out here. The first thing I want to ask you, though, before we get into that journey, so we can write them off, because we're going to cover everyone. The teams who didn't make it to champs.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask, are you shocked by any of those teams? And at the beginning of the season, did you see any of those teams making it to champs / are you surprised?
Negative. Not surprised in the slightest.
Who's the worst?
The worst of, who am I shocked by?
Yeah, who's the worst of the 4?
Oh, the worst team of the 4?
Yeah.
Probably Paris.
You think Paris do?
Yeah, because Surge have actually done okay in both lands now, where I don't think you could fairly say that they're the definite worst. Or London. Or LAG. Shoot, I don't know. They're all bad.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
That's okay.
No, I mean, it's true, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Surge is the best. Surge is the best of all of them, obviously.
Yeah.
Just from good land performances. So credit to them, but not that there's much to credit. Although this major, they did turn up and make some surprising outcomes. I wasn't super impressed last major because obviously they didn't actually beat any like really good teams. But this time around, they did. They beat FaZe. So credit to them.
Yeah, they did indeed. Well, we'll get into that a bit more because honestly, I got an opinion about that.
Okay.
So we'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, it sucks that they're not coming to champs. But I tell you what, it's it's definitely been on the table for them all season long. Here it comes.
No, you know what makes me yawn is the more we talk about yawning. So stop.
I'm not talking about yawning. I wasn't talking about it.
When I yawn, I could feel you staring at me.
I was staring at the side, not even at you. I was staring the other direction. Don't put your little yawny blames on me.
That's what you said. Here we go.
Can't help it that you're a tired little one.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry in advance if you do hear me yawn.
Yeah, he's probably going to yawn a bit. It's all right, though.
I haven't been sleeping that well.
Well, you've been sleeping well to me. You had 14 hours the other day.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I like tossing and turning though, you know?
I know.
That's why I've been trying to sleep so much. No, it's not good quality, yeah, which is different for me. Anyway.
Right, let's talk about Rocker. Okay, so they obviously started in winners round 1 and major 4. And we're not going to talk about Rocker until the very end, but we're just going to talk about the journey and the teams that they met on. They met with.
Do you mean is this 4? You mean 5?
Winners round 1, major 5.
I thought you said 4. It's okay.
If I said 4, I apologize.
Yeah, I might have been hearing things.
So they met FaZe to begin with, winners round 1. Most people will probably look at that and think, that is a really tough winners round 1 to be faced with in the major. Probably getting knocked down to the elimination bracket. Yeah. However, that was not the case that day. And they beat them 3-1. Now, this is what's like interesting about this. I can understand that. I can understand Rocker potentially beating FaZe, depending on like how FaZe feel. I think that's a team, for me, we're a dark horse anyway, and Nameless said that they're his dark horse as well. But it was what happened to FaZe after that, and we're gonna get into that right now. So FaZe then obviously dropped down, and they meet Surge because Surge make it through. They beat Legion 3-1, they beat Royal Ravens 3-0, and then they meet Surge and beat them 3-2. And that to me is where I was like, what is going on?
I really wouldn't have even thought that Rocker were going to beat FaZe. Like, even though, like you said, Nameless said they were like a dark horse or whatever. Yeah. I probably would have never, ever, ever predicted that.
No, but I would have thought, like, what I'm saying is, like, I don't think it was, like, impossible.
I thought it was literally impossible.
I didn't.
Okay, that's why you're on the desk.
Not from
right there.
Not from what's happened recently with FaZe. FaZe have recently not been as dominant.
They struggled during the season?
Yeah, a little, like the end part, yeah. They were getting beaten by people. They had their most losses towards the end of the season in the final weeks.
I might just not be remembering like what. Maybe I did think that then. Maybe I did think that about Rocker, because if they were losing, I definitely would have said that.
I wouldn't say I was not surprised.
No,
I
got you. But
I was more like, okay, I could have seen that happening potentially.
I just don't remember.
Surge, though, however, I could not. No. Like, that is one I would have gone, that's impossible.
Yeah, agreed. No, I might have thought that then about Rocker. I honestly don't remember the lead up to the major at all. No, like I don't remember the online stuff at all. But
it's a lot of games, to be fair.
Yeah,
it's a lot of games.
Surge was a shocker. This is what's interesting now is with Surge beating FaZe. I can't help but feel like FaZe just had a really, really bad event, like a 1 in a million kind of terrible performances. To where now I think that it is going to be. It can go two directions. If either it's the wake up call they needed, or it's going to be panic mode over there at the FaZe camp, So we won't know until champs, obviously. But, I mean, is it a good thing? It might be a good thing that they lost to Surge, because maybe it wakes them up a little bit. They're all kind of like...
Yeah.
It's weird calling like Simp a veteran now, because he's been like a pro for like 3 years. But
he knows
he's been at the top for a long time, all 3 years. So, like, it might be the wake-up call that they kind of needed. But yeah, I don't think anyone could have predicted Surge to win.
No, there's no way. There is no, and even if it was repeated now,
they beat them in both hard points. I would
still not pick them to win now.
They beat them in 2 hard points.
No, I know.
But if they played again, I don't think they would. I don't think they'd win. I'm not joking.
If they played another series after that immediately,
I
still would not have picked Surge to win.
Same.
Like that's kind of how the odds for me were like, no way.
Yeah, agreed.
And hats off to Surge. Well done for doing it. Good job. I've got to say, with that, the result, being what happened, I've got to say I agree with you. I think FaZe did have a really bad tournament. But that being said, kind of how the dominance has kind of weakened a little bit towards the end of the season. Mm-hmm. I think that comes down to a lot of teams catching up with them. I'm just going to put this very quickly in terms of how I feel about it, but I feel like this game is very, very heavily to do with teamwork. I think that, it's a lot of rinse and repeat, a lot of kind of the same strats and vetoes and strengths and weaknesses. So a lot of the time it comes down to teamwork and how you're actually playing the game. And I think a lot of teams have caught up to FaZe. FaZe was so far ahead at the beginning. Teams have now started to settle in, find their own groove. They've stopped switching and changing. Well, most have.
Kind of.
Not one. One team hasn't, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So I just think it's kind of a game of cat and mouse there. And I think, some of the teams have caught up here, and this is where it gets dangerous, and this is where it kind of has that repeat of last season. Granted, I think their dominance is a lot better than last season. I think that they have performed better in terms of dominance than last season for sure, but especially towards the end of the season.
Yeah, like longevity-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I do still think they're a little bit in trouble here, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens, based on what teams show up, because a couple of the teams have now woken up a bit.
Yeah, I think heading into this major, you could honestly probably say all 8 teams have a chance at winning. It's interesting because to what you said, normally I actually don't put that much stock into champs. Like a lot of people do, and I get why, because it's like the biggest event that you can win, period, right? So I understand why it's this like huge prestigious event. But I'm gonna kind of like go back in history here, but like if you're winning the majority and then you lose champs, it doesn't necessarily mean you aren't the best team in the game. You just happen to not win that weekend, right? If you go back to AW and Black Ops 3 for Optic Gaming, when it was Karma, Crim, Scump, and Formal, they were winning almost everything. And then like champs would float around and they would randomly just not have the best event. And but people like didn't know how to feel about it, because it's like, they're the best team in the game, right? But obviously fast forward to IW, they kind of stamped it. They win champs against the Envy team. But with this FaZe team, it almost feels like a reverse effect of, you can actually literally see at the end of the year them getting caught up to and other teams competing. Whereas with, I could be not 100% accurate on this, but like I remember back in Black Ops 3 and AW and even IW somewhat, even though I think they struggled on IW, especially at the beginning. Optic, it was like I thought they were like clear and far ahead of everyone the entire year, and then they would I could have it fogged in my brain, but you know what I mean? Like it feels like 2 different scenarios. And these are guys who are already being cemented as some of the best players in Call of Duty, even being in their first couple of years. With Simp, obviously, and that's no discredit to him because he belongs in that conversation. Simp and Abizi, but it's interesting. I'm curious to hear. Champs doesn't happen yet, so there's no writing them off yet, because I still think they have a great chance at winning. I probably even put them at like 50%, or like up there in terms of percentages. But if they don't win, I'd be curious to see or hear what they think is going wrong 2 years in a row. And I say going wrong as if like, I said this to you yesterday, they got second last year. Like it's not like they got blown out of the water, but I wouldn't say they were the favorites going into last year.
No.
Like I didn't feel like last year I thought Dallas was the favorite going into it.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. I think for them though, second place to them is just outright losing.
Yeah. Well, like to good teams it is.
I think I totally understand what you're saying about like, it doesn't necessarily mean you're the best team in the game, although there is definitely an argument there, because it's like when it matters, can you show up?
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but...
And it's a best of 9, but I understand it is different. I mean, that's like a different convo for a different day. But I think, you know, for FaZe anyway, it would be very interesting to see, you know, if that does happen, it would be very interesting to see what they thought of that and why. Like twice in a row, it's kind of the same type of
like fall off as the year goes on. And this time you got land too. You can't really chalk it up to, you know.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, I'll tell you what though, Rocker.
Yeah.
They then met Dallas after taking down FaZe, right? So we talked about FaZe falling to Surge. FaZe get out the tournament nice and early, something we have not seen before.
Yeah.
And Dallas meet the same fate as FaZe in their winners bracket. They get knocked down too. Dallas Empire right now.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Because, you know, it's a weird one again. Like they've had quite a journey as a team. But they've come into their own, and I've got to say, like, I'm really, really, really impressed with Vivid.
Yeah,
I feel
how
like
they kind of turned it around.
A huge part of that. They obviously met Thieves in the eliminations round 4. Thieves. That's where we can really have this discussion. You know, they beat Thieves 3-1.
It was a close series, that 3-1
Yeah,
too.
it was a close series. And I think it's also impressive because I do think Thieves have been looking really, really good. So going up against Empire, like, would you say Thieves are looking good, or would you say if Empire is just a better team, or Empire were not really being, like, performing the way that you think that they can? Because obviously there was a lot of external factors potentially with Crim.
So I think it's a combination of both. I actually thought Thieves looked really good because I didn't know what to make of their new roster. You know, we saw them online. They did pretty good online, like with Slasher and John, obviously.
Yeah.
But, you know, first time back on land and everything.
John has not been on the team very long either.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it was just going to be interesting to see kind of what happened with it. I thought LA played really solid, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them make a run at CHAMPS. We'll talk about CHAMPS later on. I don't think they're going to win it because I don't think, coming from the loser bracket, I just don't see it happening. But anyway, and then on the flip side of that, I was talking about Dallas. Dallas is the one team that I actually have a little asterisk next to because, you know, it came out later. I think Crim posted. I know Crim posted about
his cat.
Yeah, him and his fiance's cat, Dana. Obviously, I believe went missing a week before the event, and he was, you know, stressing out about it as anyone would, and was putting up flyers and just trying to get this whole thing sorted. And then fast forward to the event, and you could just tell they weren't buttoned up like they normally are. Like they're normally a really solid, methodical team. I feel like, you know, like Shotzi goes berserk, as does Illy and everything.
Yeah.
But overall, they are pretty structured, and that teamwork and fluidness wasn't there.
Yeah.
And they openly said that they weren't using teamwork. And I can't help but feel like, you know, if your vocal leader is really struggling and maybe he just doesn't want to be there, you know, and again, understandably so, I can't help but feel like that has to be a factor.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there. I think, you know, Crim is a huge part of the team. Not just in his gameplay, but the things that he brings apart from the gameplay to the team, like exactly like you said, the vocal leader, somebody who's kind of like running the ship.
He's the vet.
And he is the vet. He's the guy that all three of them look up to. Illy, Shotzi, and Vivid, all are looking at him. And if he's not wanting to really be there or like do what he has to do because he's not feeling it, he's not getting pumped up, he's not, you know, shouting or screaming the way that he does usually, then it brings the whole rest of the team down. That's nothing, you know, that's definitely not his fault whatsoever. But potentially we might see a much hotter, more ready, more stable Dallas Empire coming into CHAMPS, which is
might be more major four-esque.
Yes,
you
absolutely.
know, where you're taking FaZe to the last game.
So that would, I would probably say that that's more likely. I just want to say before we end that topic, but I hope that they did find their cat. I'm you know, really do.
Yeah,
really do. Thinking of those guys, it was horrible. But that being said, obviously LA Thieves, like you said, looking pretty good considering that they have pretty much only just started this roster, but they're sticking with it after 7 roster changes. You know, it's been a hell of a journey for these lads. There's a lot of drama that's been going on between, funny enough, Dallas and Thieves, but not with each other.
No, yeah.
However, you know, they're looking really good. I can't help but, you know, kind of think or fantasize that if that had been sooner, what they could have been or
maybe
could be
the
right
winner's
now.
Bracket.
Yeah, exactly. I think they were definitely on that path. Kenny's been performing really well. Draz has been great. And then you've obviously got John and Slasher. They've all been well-rounded.
They just haven't like pieced it together kind of thing.
And that takes time. That's the thing, like I said, about
New
the teamwork.
roster.
It takes time. It really does take time to have that, thick and thin, to be able to adapt as a team accordingly and strategize well, but also do things on the fly based on what other teams are doing. So really impressed with them. I definitely do think they're a dark horse in champs.
I just think it's gonna be tough to win.
It's gonna be very tough, but I think they're a dark horse. But so I think that they're gonna really go for it. Yeah. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if they knock down a couple of big dogs or surprises along the way if they're the people to do it. But yeah, really, really impressed with Aethes and what I've seen. It's really cool. Also having the MV trio kind of back as well once again. Obviously JCap not being on the actual roster, but Coaching. He is the coach.
It's cool.
Pretty damn cool.
Very cool.
Well, let's move on for the next part of Rocker's journey, where I believe they meet Ultra.
Yeah.
So
in winners finals,
they've had quite a couple of matches actually, in their Major 5 bracket, and to be honest, I was a little shocked here. I really was a little shocked.
Oh yeah,
here.
To Rocker winning 3-0.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I really didn't expect that. Yeah, I thought, okay, they've been doing good. They're looking really good, but Ultra's going to be really hard. Oh my god!
Because Ultra is always a tough team.
3-0.
Ultra is always a tough team.
Yeah, always.
No matter what, like through online and LAN, they grind. Like that's how I would kind of sum up Ultra in general. Really, again, same thing. Really well structured, and they've done a great job at having them perform that way, just as a structured unit. But yeah, just I feel like every Ultra match, I feel like other than this one, I don't feel like you could be like, oh yeah, they got stomped. Because they never get stomped. It's always a really close series and close games, and maybe it goes map 5 or whatever. But yeah, this time around, different narrative for Rocker.
It really was. And then the icing on the cake for Rocker was, of course, meeting Optic, who Optic actually beat Empire after Empire went on to beat Thieves in the elimination round 5. So pretty goddamn big win for Optic then. Like we said, obviously external factors with Dallas Empire, but for Optic and Optic's confidence, I'm not sure even if the external factors were known at that point, but for Optic, that was a really, really big victory considering the really up and down, and honestly, I wouldn't even say so much up season that they've had. It's been pretty down. To be perfectly honest. I would say like redeemable at times, but never really like, oh yeah, consistent. This is great. It's been pretty poor. However, they've definitely sparked up a bit in the the later part of the season, which has been really cool to watch, especially for Optic fans as well. But they take down Dallas Empire 3-1, and then they meet Ultra, and unfortunately that doesn't go to plan. 3-1, they fall to them and they're out of Major 5, but that was the elimination final. They were 1 away from making it to a tournament final, which is huge.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings on it, because they did lose to Ultra 3-2 in winners bracket. So like they're close, but man, it's as a Greenwall fan, okay, as an OG fan here.
Especially also, just to note, they won the first hard point
against Ultra in the loser elimination final.
I thought this was it. They were winning the whole thing.
It's tough because I think, look, when you talk about champs, I think any team can win it. If you're a top 8 team there in Call of Duty, you can win it. If you make it to Sunday, you got a shot, right? Especially with the format and all that stuff, which we don't have to get into. But I do think it benefits. Like, even if you lose, you're not necessarily at some massive disadvantage. But with Optic, I am nervous. Like, as an Optic fan, I just want to see them win so bad. Like, I feel like champs would be so cool for them to win.
It would be lit.
But it would be, oh my God, imagine the crowd freaking out.
The crowd going mental. God.
But the thing about it, and again, when it comes to Call of Duty, I for sure bleed green. Like, green wall gang. That's me. But, I think most people are realistic. They haven't beaten really a top 3 team basically all year. Fair to say?
Yeah,
even with beating Dallas this past event, even being Dallas this past event, there's a part of me that's like, how much was it was them and how much was it was Dallas was just that bad. But they did take Ultra to 3-2, and they, regardless of external factors, they beat Dallas. And you know what? Maybe that's the confidence that they needed, because maybe they haven't yet gone to a LAN event and beaten a good team. At least off the top of my head, I don't think that they have. So maybe going to this event and beating Empire
on LAN, did you say?
On LAN.
Yeah.
I don't think they've gone to a LAN event yet. I think of
have.
the 2 LANs that we've had, I don't think that they've beaten another top team yet. Like a team like in the top 4, I should say. But maybe this will be the confidence that they need. You know, they know individually, they know they can do it.
Yeah, I was completely wrong, by the way. They didn't win the first hard point. The reason why I thought that is because there was 5 points in it.
Oh, they choked.
Ultra won 250, but they choked the first hard point. It was 2-4-5.
Optic choked.
Yeah, they were very close to winning.
Optic choked.
I think they had a ridiculous lead or something like that.
Yeah, they had a pretty good lead.
They won the S&D though.
Yeah, and you're 5 seconds away from going up 2-0.
They won the S&D 6-4 on Moscow.
Yeah, but maybe that's what they need though.
Yeah,
you know, they beat Empire, they lost 3-2, and then you're 5 seconds away from being up 2-0 on the team that got second, and the team. And by the way, the team that could have won the whole damn thing. In Ultra. Yep. So maybe it's the confidence they need as an OG fan and someone who loves Hex. And, I got a lot of love for some of the guys on the team that I know, obviously being like Seth and Matt and even Troy, the coach. I hope they pull it together because I want to see it, especially what better of a time than Champs. I have individual people that I root for, obviously. Optic's the one like team I feel like I root for, Yeah,
absolutely.
So what a better time than Champs. Imagine the process.
Dude, I love the process. The content's incredible.
That's what I mean.
It's
Imagine you win Champs and the content.
Gotta say, got a big shout out to Rog over there.
Yeah.
Roger's amazing at what he does.
Yeah.
Now, we get to the end of Major 5, just about. And obviously, Rocker meet Ultra again because Ultra worked their way back up by beating Optic.
Yep.
Now, this is where things get interesting because this tournament final will be going down in history as one of either the biggest reverse sweeps you've ever seen or the biggest choke in history.
Yeah, it's probably the first time I've ever seen a reverse sweep in a best of 9 series.
Yeah.
And I think it'll probably be one of the only times.
Just so straight reverse sweep as well.
It was brutal.
It wasn't like 3 games and
close
then they it was like they were on a lifeline.
Yeah.
They couldn't mess up.
Yep.
And winning 5 games in a row, really hard to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Against Ultra.
Yep.
I mean, so let's start this off. Obviously, I want to just explain like how bizarre this is and how I think a lot of kind of warm and cold feeds into this quite a lot, because obviously Ultra pretty damn warm from their elimination bracket run. Rocker, have been waiting for a while. So 250 to 34 on checkmate. Now, granted, Toronto, their best map, kind of a bit strange that Rocker picked that.
Is that their best map?
Yeah, their best hardpoint map, isn't it?
I don't know. I know that they
or one of their best.
It's one of their best. I know what people were talking. It's definitely one of their best. And I know what people are talking about. From the Rocker side of Brian Saint being their coach, he picked. If I'm not mistaken, he picked game 1 because they have veto advantage. He picked game 1 to be the same game type that Ultra had just played and just beat Optic on.
That's what it was. Maybe it wasn't their best. It was the one that they just beat Optic on.
It's still statistically really up there for them, obviously. I think he probably caught a little lesson there.
Yeah,
I think that they
not
lose.
Great start.
I think that they lose that game 1 no matter what.
Yeah, but not in that fashion.
250,
34.
You don't even get a chance to warm up.
34.
You know what I mean? Like you're just stomped. Like that's why I think the next couple games, like game 2 probably was even so bad. Because think about it, you sit down on the stage, they're cold as can be. They didn't even get to play map 1.
Well,
you lost.
250 to 34 is as if the team didn't even show up.
Exactly.
And it's a bot.
Exactly.
You can get as a bot going against Ultra, you could probably get 34, maybe 40.
I'd like to see that game. Ultra versus veteran bots.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
how many points they get?
It didn't slow down there for Ultra in the first 4. So S&D Moscow 6-1, absolute whitewash. Toronto Ultra Minnesota 3-1. Ultra take that one, control raid. At least they get a point. I'm not even sure if it was offense or defense, but I'm guessing defense. And then Ultra, to secure things up where we all think we're packing our bags, it's time for home, we've got our victors, like they're going to win this major, 250 to 194, getting a bit better here. Okay, so now
warming up a little bit. Are you going to drop your analogy now?
Now I'm going to drop my analogy. Now I've given you the bit of the picture here. Okay. So for me, this really is a case of warm and cold, right? This is like when you take a pie out of the fridge and it's cold, right? Like a pot pie. And you've got to warm it up, haven't you? Because it's freezing at the start.
Okay.
It's good. It's a good pie. And you know when it's warm, it's going to be incredible.
Okay.
But you got to warm it up. So you pop it in the microwave, right?
Yeah.
On it goes, I would probably say 5 minutes. You need 5 minutes. First
You're
minute.
switching it up, huh?
No, 5 minutes.
I thought yesterday it was 4 minutes.
No, it's 5 minutes till it's ready.
Okay.
Technically, right?
Oh, because map 5.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So map 1, first minute, 250 to 34. Freezing. Middle's basically raw. It's like impossible. You cannot eat this, cannot do anything with it. You got to leave it in and just hope for the best. Okay, hope it's cooking.
Yep.
Second minute, 6-1 in the S&D. Again, we got a point on the board there, got a round. However, still goddamn cold, right? Second minute in, just inedible.
It didn't do much that second minute.
Inedible, raw pastry, raw meat kind of like pink. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Then we go third minute, 3-1 in the control. They got around here, okay? They got around. I don't know if it was defensive or offensive, but we're getting lukewarm, people, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Getting lukewarm. Fourth minute, 250 to 194, hard point on Raid, okay? Bear in mind, they just played Raid against Ultra in the control, so the map is familiar now, okay? But you'd think Ultra would be able to close them out of this a bit more. They can't, because guess what? Your pot pie's nearly done. Right? It's getting toasty. You can see it browning on the sides. A little bit of steam coming out the top.
Fresh out the oven?
Yeah, Ultra.
They were getting cold?
Ultra were fresh out the oven, and at this point, they were fresh out the oven. They were piping hot. At the beginning of the series, they went back in the oven. They're burnt now. They're burnt out.
Really?
That's it. It's over.
They didn't get put back in the fridge or anything?
No.
Okay.
They're burnt.
That's what you're going with, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
They got
burnt
in
to
the
a
oven?
crisp. Yeah. So, Rocker are heating up now. It's nearly done. Bang. Bing. It's ready. Minute 5 is where things start turning around.
Minute 5 is map 5, in case you didn't catch on to this.
Yeah. Miami S&D, 6-3. Okay. Look at that turnaround. The burnt crisp of a 3-round loss. And then you have the 6 heating up, steaming Rocker coming your way. It's terrifying but delicious all at the same time. And then we have, obviously, moving on. We've got Control on Gary, 3-1. Standoff, 6-2. Apocalypse, 250 to 165. And eventually, they seal the deal. The Rocker Resurrection happens. Raid, 6-3. Perfect pot pie. Bing, bam. You can eat it. Fantastic. Absolutely stunning. What a reverse sweep. But it really is the analogy of the hot and cold. Dig in.
That analogy was even more ridiculous the second day, because you actually perfected the analogy.
Well, I really thought about it, and I thought how great it is.
Because yesterday you did it on the fly, and I made fun of you for it.
It is on the fly. What do you think? I've written it down. No,
you didn't write it down.
Got it in my head.
But you said it like you were on point this time around with it. You knew exactly.
Bon appetit. Minnesota. Bon appetit.
God.
I mean, it was amazing. So this is what I want to understand from your perspective, especially as a pro player. So, all jokes aside and all analogies aside, no, it wasn't amazing to watch.
Yeah, it was.
Historic moment. But what happened to Ultra? I can understand what happened to Rocker. I can understand that they heated up and they finally got warmed up, etc. But what happened to Ultra? Like, what would you say was going on? Because there's one thing coming out and playing against a cold team or playing against a lesser team at the time. But it's another to not be able to just close out one game within 5.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could definitely chalk it up to a little bit of a choke. Obviously, I think if you're up 4-0 and lose, it's fair to say you choked a bit,
I mean,
but
come on.
The reality of it is sometimes you lose because the other team's just better. And they're better throughout the whole event, or they're better that day, or whatever the case may be. And the reason I say that is because Rocker 3-0'd them in the winners finals. Even playing field, all square. Both of you just won your match, and you're playing each other on the same day in the same circumstances. You got 3-0'd. So, knowing that, I'm not shocked that, Rocker... I mean, I'm still a little shocked, obviously. But is it unbelievably surprising that Rocker won 5 in a row? Again, it is, because 5 in a row is insane. But they did win 3 in a row a day before, Yeah. So... I don't know. I would say that you could definitely say it's a little bit of a choke, but at the same time, I mean, think about it, they won 4, right? When the day before they won nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You can't. Sometimes I feel like you focus on, not you, but as a spectator, you focus on, oh my God, how could they lose that? And the reality of it is the other team was just that much, they were literally just that much better.
I think it's hard sometimes to not focus on that, especially in the fashion that was lost. Because it literally was 5 games in a row. They had to win one game. It's insane. God, 1 hard point.
Yep.
1 control.
And really, they weren't close either. Once they lost game 5.
No, they weren't close.
Yeah.
It was the complete polar opposite.
That's why I think it's a little bit of a choke, because they just didn't even get close to winning a game.
Yeah.
To where I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I don't know if it's actually a little bit of a choke, or if it's just a clear demonstration of Rocker just being better because they didn't get close after that. It's tough to say. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's like you said, it's hard not to focus on that side of it because you are so close. But I mean, Ultra, this is the thing about Ultra. Basically since they won Major 2, I believe, right? They won Major 2? Was that the one that they won?
Yeah. Ultra?
Yeah. Ever since they won Major 2, they're a contender, right? So I think for this event, even though it's going to sting brutally, I think that they can, heading into champs, regain and keep their heads high because they know that they can contend for a ring. And obviously, it sucks to say when you were so close to winning the champs prior, or the major prior, but that's their takeaway that they got to have is we were 1 game away. We can beat every team. We know we can beat every team. Because if you can win 4 maps against Rocker in the finals, you could win 3 in the winners finals.
Yeah.
Now, granted, again, different circumstances. How much did that play into it? I don't know. But that's all you can do. Got to try to take the positive and move on from it. Because we know that they can win the whole thing.
That is Guru SB right there. He got you.
Hashtag.
Now, we're moving on to champs and the champs bracket, because this brings us to the teams that have made it through. And let's just quickly talk about, the way that this is going to be going down and kind of what we expect from the gates. Obviously, we only have a couple of rounds to discuss because we have basically the seeding to talk about until tomorrow. Exciting. Yeah. So obviously, winners round 1, Optic goes up against New York Subliners. We have Dallas Empire in the same round versus Minnesota Rocker. Winners round 2 is FaZe versus Winner, and Ultra versus Winner as well. Elimination round 1, we have our 2 teams that didn't make it into the winners bracket. Mutineers and Thieves both have a really tough ride from the get-go. Cannot make a mistake. It's going to be a really rough journey. Now, I'm going to start with the elimination bracket because I have a hot take.
Okay.
Oh, what did you want to say?
I actually take back what I said about a team can't win it through this bracket.
Okay.
Because since there's no map advantage and there's only such few rounds.
So they can win it.
They can.
Yeah, definitely.
Because normally it's
you ain't
beating the team in winners twice.
They definitely can, although I'm pretty sure the way that the days are formatted, I think we only have 1 game on Sunday.
Oh, it's only champs?
Yes.
On Sunday?
Yeah, I believe so.
I did that in 2016 when we won Worlds 2017.
So it's a little bit less of an advantage, I think.
Yeah, that's definitely way less.
I mean,
it's
risky, but before in the majors there was definitely an advantage, but it was risky. You know what I mean? It's like a risky road for the reward.
Yeah.
But somebody was going to make it out of there for sure.
It's less of an advantage. Yeah. The fact that it's only 1 match on 1 day, because before it was you would win losers bracket and play a team that hadn't played yet.
Okay, I have a really spicy take here.
Yeah, let's hear the spicy take.
Elimination bracket. You already know what this is.
I know what it is.
Now, I don't want you to think I'm mean. Okay, so don't judge me.
She's talking to you people, not me.
Please don't think I'm mean by saying this, but I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to give you the spicy takes because we're all friends here and I think we can have a good discussion. But there's one team that I genuinely think, I'm just going to say it. Mutineers, right? Okay. if they make it through this elimination bracket and have one of their wonders at some point, and they beat the impossible and they go for it and they get there and they win champs, I think I'll cry. Not with happiness. I'll be upset. I'll be genuinely upset because okay, and look, okay, maybe I'm taking it too far here, but you hopefully you understand what I'm saying. They have been so damn inconsistent that everything I think about the game and everything I think I know about the game, I feel just goes out the window. And it's almost like I don't feel then like the best team did win. And that kind of upsets me.
Yeah. Well, the most consistent team certainly didn't win.
Yeah, because I feel like Mutineers have been so inconsistent to the point where it's like it has been the entire season.
So you see my point about what I said earlier? I
do see your point, but I think it depends on who wins.
I agree.
There's a difference between where you could be like they were the best team
because of how they perform all year.
Yes,
but if you go back to some of the teams that have won champs in the past,
yes,
it wasn't ever the best team.
For example, if Ultra win, I would happily say that they're the best team.
I agreed. FaZe or Ultra, FaZe or Ultra win, fully agree. Or even FaZe, Ultra, or I would even probably say Rocker now since they won a major.
I would actually say
Rocker's a tough one.
Rocker would have had the best glow up I've ever seen.
Yeah, agreed.
Because they were consistently good towards the end.
Mm-hmm. I think Mutineers can do it though, and I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but I'd be sad about it because I just think it just puts everything, all the logic of like what makes a good team and like how to get there out the window for me, and it's scary and upsetting. But look, if that's life, it's life. I'll deal with it.
Yeah, it's tough because they've beaten. I think they've almost beaten every single top team.
Yeah, but so inconsistently.
But then they're just inconsistent.
And then it begs the question, like, okay, but were those teams just not playing well that day?
Would you feel
is that what it is?
Would you feel the same way if LA won? She's literally pondering her thoughts right now. Because, like, think about it.
I know this sounds really weird, but I don't think I would be as upset. I think I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
And I'd be more like,
because it's like,
did not see that coming.
You say that about Florida, and I get what you're saying. Okay, I don't disagree with you.
This is why I have a differing opinion. It's not because I hate Florida. Don't get me wrong. I think they're lovely people. I really love the players. I think they're awesome, super talented. Neptune's absolutely incredible. You know, don't get me wrong. I like them. There's not one team I don't like in our league. However, I think it's because of the longevity of that team. They've been together for a bit now. And it just for me was so inconsistent, and it was frustrating.
Yeah,
because it was all we could talk about on the desk all the time was the inconsistency, and that was all that was happening. So I think at least with LA Thieves, they've been consistent at changing their roster until they found what worked.
Did it really work though? They just kind of got stuck with the roster. It didn't necessarily work.
I think it works
John. I think it works, but they didn't do a trial and error, and it worked. It's just
I know, but they had to take the risk. Something wasn't working.
They did. I agree with you, but they did one last change before the roster lock or before you can make any more changes, and that's that. They're done. You can't make any more changes. So for them to go and win it when there's like other people who have been teams for so long,
but they still put thought into who that was going to be.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what
they
I'm
went
out
and got John. Yeah,
it wasn't just a rush decision. They didn't have to change.
I get what you mean.
You know what I mean? So it's just like
it is different. It's two different scenarios, but it would be somewhat of.
Okay, I feel bad saying like I would cry if Mutiny as well.
No, everyone knows you aren't.
I'm just saying like it would just be a bit.
It'd be shocking.
Nuts.
It'd be shocking.
It'd be like okay, but then I would have a really hard time saying that they were the best team, which is so bad, and I feel terrible saying that because I tell you what, this is the best way to put it. I'd have a really hard time saying that they are the best team in the CDL. However, I would say that I am very, very delighted that they won, and I think it was an incredible
performance,
incredible pressurized performance, and they managed to do it on the time that it matters, especially elimination bracket, going up some of the top teams who had been dominant all season long, taking them down when it matters most would be extremely, extremely impressive. So that's what I'll say about it.
I agree with you, and I think that clears up how you feel for sure.
Yeah, because I'm just being a drama queen because it's fun, but you know, I will be crying. I'll be crying.
I get it. I understand what you meant from the beginning because it's been frustrating, especially like rooting for them. Like I feel like I've been like rooting for them, like with Neptune and stuff. Like I've wanted him to do really well, and then like it's just been, you know, inconsistent after inconsistent, not of him, but of the team. So it would be crazy to see them go from that to all of a sudden just powerhouse run through everyone kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, quick couple takes now. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on them because, you know, we spent a bit even on the first one, even though I said it was going to be hot takes.
Yeah.
First game, Optic versus Subliners. Subliners, hello. Welcome back, New York. Oh, my goodness. Bit of a change has happened.
Clay.
Diamond out, Clay back in. Something I honestly didn't think was going to happen. I'm a little bit shocked about it.
I'm not shocked.
Okay, good for you, Mr. I am psychic. However, I really didn't think he was coming back because I just thought it was just too late. I really did I think it was too late. And by the way, if the rosters had locked, how has Clay come back in?
Because he's on the roster.
Do you mean like they could have used a sub?
They could, like, LA could have used Hugh.
Okay, got you.
Instead of John.
Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. Well, anyway, Clay coming back in. A couple hot takes on it. Do you think it's going to be an easier or harder ride for them with Clay back on the roster, having changed so early, so soon?
Easier because I think that had they had DiamondCon, I don't see them beating Optic at all. And with Clay, I could see them beating Optic. And it depends on how they're gelling and how stuff's going. And whether or not they'll be able to do that, I don't know. Because things were looking a little rough when Clay left. You know, not getting into his personal stuff of what happened and why he left. And he said he's going to talk about that later on. But the team wasn't happy about it. Yeah. And it's hard to perform as a broken team. So, but, you know, if Clay comes back and they hash that out and figure it out, easier chance with Clay because they stand more of a chance to win.
Okay. I totally get that. I think on the other side, I think it's not going to be any easier or any harder.
You don't think it's easier with them having Clay?
I don't think so. I mean, this is just based on like kind of the vibe I'm getting. Like, I don't say it's going to be harder. That's not like, that's because Clay's good.
Yeah.
And I think it's not going to be easier.
They did not stand a chance of beating OG with DiamondCon.
Yeah, I agree with that. And by the way, shout out DiamondCon,
so you have to admit,
who couldn't play in challenges because of all this entire situation. Just want to say,
feel really bad for him.
Yeah, I feel really bad for him. But shout out to him for being an absolute, trooper. I think
you have to say it's easier.
It's not going to be any easier, and I don't think it's going to be any harder. I'm going to stick by that because I was interviewing.
No, I know.
ASIM. I was interviewing anyone else from New York. I mean, basically ASIM. And the guys have abandonment issues.
No,
for sure.
I get you.
They do.
I get you.
They were annoyed. They were pissed. Like, they were not. They were. Honestly, I'm pretty sure they won a match because it fueled them. Like, how annoyed they were. Mm-hmm. So, like, for me, that's a big red flag. And look, I really do hope that they can work it out in time for the competition to start. But what I would say is, like, I think that the chemistry on the team will be slightly affected by it, but I hope that they can rally together, like you said, and I hope that it will become easier for them, because right now I'm not sure.
You want to hear something crazy?
Go on.
Obviously, we're recording this after our recording last night didn't work.
Yeah.
Right? NYSL today.
Yeah.
Scrimming Rocker.
Yeah.
And Clay put out a tweet about Standy torching time or something like that, because Standy was like late to the scrim at the LAN, and Standy replied saying, "I'm gunning you right now," or something like that. Clay replied after their scrim saying, "How'd that work out for you?"
Oh dear.
I think NYSL was winning the scrim on LAN against them.
On LAN?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're all at the event.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh, what does
that do for your take? If that's the case, I think that's the case, because he said, "How'd that work out for you?" They could have literally not won any games, and Clay could have just been popping off. Who knows?
This is where my head goes for this.
Okay.
Champs.
Yeah.
Glory. Champs. High pressure situation, right? Clay. Let's be honest. He's an emotional player. One thing goes wrong, I see it falling apart.
Okay.
And I even see that mid-series. That's my worry. That's where I think it's not going to become any easier or any harder. Not because Clay's not incredible. He is. Let's be honest. If you are, I said this yesterday, but if you're on a basketball court and you're your captain and you're picking the teams, you'd be picking him. He'd be one of the first choices. Like he's a great player, a vet, experienced, and he's accoladed. Now, that being said, with what's happened, I do see, and the problems that were occurring in the team, quite clearly very personal problems as well, emotions run high at events like this. This is the be all or end all. This is the last rally. Like this is where you leave it all on the table or on the sticks. There is nowhere to hide. So I feel like in mid series, if something goes wrong, they're not doing or executing something right. Let's say they lose a respawn in the middle of the series, and emotions go out the window. I see it all falling apart there and then, which is my worry about it. That's the only thing I would say.
I disagree slightly. But we don't have to keep talking about it, because I think even though he's an emotional player, I don't think that you have the success and consistency that he has had and have it all fall apart.
Yeah,
I do agree with you.
I can agree with
I
that.
do agree with you.
Yeah,
that they might not be great.
I mean,
because of the
I don't
issues.
know.
Yeah,
but like if I was just
well,
based on the situation,
we don't see scrims.
No, I know.
You know,
and based on the situation that I see in front of me, because that's not what I'm saying.
No,
if they're vibing, I'm sure they're going to be perfect.
And that's my point.
That's what
I agree with you.
And then that's my point.
I got you.
Is if it falls apart,
yeah,
and they're not vibing at any stage of a series,
yeah,
I'm worried it will fall apart on their laps there.
I guess. Yeah. No, I
you know what I'm saying?
I feel you. We agree.
Yeah, and then they have to go through the elimination bracket, and then they can't mess up again, and it's just like terrifying.
No, I feel
in
you.
that sense.
I feel
However, I tell you what, then I'll change my opinion. I do think it'll be easier, but I do think it's also risky as well. But I think this is the best outcome that they could have had for champs. There you go. Happy with that?
Yeah, but why do you say it's risky?
Because of what I said. I truly think
it ain't risky though.
It is risky.
It isn't risky.
It is.
Lot. It's not risky. Diamond Con or Clay? Who are you picking?
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, so it's risky in terms of they could just not gel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
But
I'm not saying that there was any other option.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just saying that
as long as we agree. As long as we agree on that.
Champs is going to be risky for them.
As long as
it's not set in stone. It's not. I wouldn't say it's confident boosting. I think it's pressurizing for them.
No, I agree.
Really is.
I agree with that. As long as you agree with the Diamond Con Clay thing, which you do.
Diamond Con, bless him, bless his soul.
Well, you're being compared to one of the best players in the game, which is Clay.
There was no other choice.
Yeah.
If the choice is on the table, you're picking Clay every single time, without a doubt.
Then we're on the same page.
Yeah, we're on the same page. What I'm saying is, it is risky business because of what happened.
No, yeah, for sure.
If that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be coming into saying it's risky. I'd be coming into saying I think they could win.
Because we're going to end this and move on. Yeah. I 100% agree with you. What I meant when you said the risky thing, I thought you were talking about bringing Clay in.
No.
In terms of the roster, which isn't what you're saying. No. You're just saying the situation is risky,
it is.
Which I agree with.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We're on the same page.
We are on the same. I know we are. That's why I would try and explain it. I know we're on the same page. But yeah, so it's look, and I can't wait to see it unfold.
Yeah.
Really can't. However, that being said, based on teams and where they're at, I am kind of looking at Optic to win that. What are you thinking?
I think if they don't, I think it's a choke on their part. And I love OG, but let's be honest, between the first round ones that there are, you got handed the easier round one.
Yeah.
You know, who would you rather play? Broken NYSL, who didn't have their captain for the last major and for practice and all that good stuff until recently, or would you rather play Empire, who you historically haven't done amazing against, or Rocker, who just won the last event? You take NYSL.
Yeah, you definitely would.
Yeah.
A team that's literally, had to come back together and kind of rebuild.
Exactly.
As well.
So if you're OG...
And not just that, rebuild rapport.
So I think OG,
other.
I would probably pick them to win it, especially since we don't have the intel on how scrims go for NYSL and how they're vibing. But no matter what, I think OG is a tough team. So I think that they could win it no matter what. And if they don't, I think just in terms of their champs run, I think it's a little bit of... I don't want to say a choke, because a choke is a little bit like too negative. But you know what I mean. Like,
and
it's,
also... Yeah.
But you get what I mean. Like, it's just a little bit of a blunder of like, you kind of got handed the easier bracket and you still made it hard on yourself. Fair?
Yeah, and I think it's then...
Choke isn't the right word. I just don't know.
No, it's not choke, but I also think it's not giving them the start that they need.
Yeah, to win.
They need momentum.
Yeah.
They need confidence. They're the type of team that, let's be honest... confidence hasn't just been handed to them this season. It's been earned. So it's like they need to earn that first.
Because when they click...
they need to earn that first win to get them going and get the fire started.
Yeah.
Moving on very quickly, the final one we're going to talk about in the bracket, because obviously, we've talked about everything and we haven't got any kind of fill-ins until tomorrow. Empire versus Rocker. Now, this one's really interesting. This is going to be the final thing we talk about before Champs starts tomorrow. This is going to be good. And I'll tell you why. This is going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
This is a true test for Rocker right at the start.
Agreed.
Because if what we're saying is right and what we're saying is true, and Empire were affected by a personal issue, which is totally understandable, because we're all human here, and you can get affected by whatever it is in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Then a 2-week past it empire could potentially mean serious problems for Rocker. That being said, Rocker will be tested to see if they're the real deal right from the get-go again on LAN, because not only did they take down Dallas, but they took down Ultra twice.
Yeah.
So there is some type of, and they took down FaZe. So there is some type of something happening here with Rocker. It wasn't just a one kind of like top dog blunder and they managed to get through it.
With Rocker.
Yeah.
If they beat Empire,
then I see them potentially going all the way.
Then I see them in the finals.
Yep.
I think they'll beat Ultra.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess you could say it depends on how that series goes. Like, say it goes 3-2.
Very close.
And it's very close. Maybe I might be like, ooh, Ultra could actually put up a fight here, because
then I think it's just like on the table.
Who plays the best that day.
Agreed.
Yeah. So.
But I think if it's a 3-1 again or 3-0.
I think if it's a 3-0, I'm going Rocker. I'm like they're the real deal. They're probably going to 3-0 Ultra, because I guarantee you they're in Ultra's heads even in the slightest.
Yeah, I mean, they'd meet them next.
Yeah, that's why I think.
And that's all that's standing in their way. Literally, that's what's standing in their way. Series. It's 2 series, and then they have the winners finals against whoever makes it in the top of those rounds. That's why I see them in winners finals.
If they beat Dallas convincingly, I think they're in winners finals.
That being said, okay, hypothetically, Dallas, forget the Dallas we saw at Major.
Yeah.
If it's the Dallas from Major 4, and it's the Dallas that we know can show up, that we've seen show up, how are Rocker's chances if they play that Dallas?
I think it's going to be a close series.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a close series, and then I think...
And then where do you think Dallas will end up based on that?
I don't know, because I don't know if Dallas Rocker, is playing really...
They 3-0 Rocker.
If they 3-0 Rocker, I could see them probably sitting in winners finals as well.
So this is a pretty big match then,
but
in terms of scoreline too.
It's not guaranteed, because I get 100%... Ultra is good.
No, they're very good.
Really
they're
good.
Very, very, very good.
But I think that the team that comes out in that round 1 on fire, because this is part of it, right? We don't know. I think Ultra and FaZe, by the way, both actually are they're lucky in terms of how the bracket works out, because you're technically placed higher no matter what. Like, you don't have to win a series. You're automatically placed slightly above 8th place, I believe. Yeah, it is. I forget I even said believe, because it is. But both teams kind of had a little bit of a mishap at the last major, FaZe and Toronto, and you don't get to get a series like under your belt to like feel good heading into a tougher match. Like round 2 is tougher than round 1. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So like Ultra and FaZe both have this like this last event was bad for us. They could come out on fire, or they could come out cold as hell and not have it figured out, because you haven't played a serious LAN match since the last time. FaZe's last match, they lost to Surge.
Yeah.
Ultra's last match, they got reverse swept. Fast forward 2 weeks, hey, here's Rocker again. I mean, if you're FaZe, FaZe, it depends on how OG and NYSL play, but I think FaZe, with the bracket that they have, I see FaZe potentially being a lock for winners finals. But depending how that team, same thing, depending how that team comes out round 1, NYSL comes out on fire, OG comes out on fire, I think that they can make it in. I think that they could then beat FaZe. But that agree. Round 1 is important to see how teams come out.
Yeah, it is. And it's not just about winning the game, it's about how you win it as well. Like how you do, like, what that kind of gives you, what you feed off of that. So I think that's going to be really important. And those first rounds I am so excited for. I think they're incredible matchups. I think like the seeding is perfection.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's going to be really,
cool.
really good. Yeah, I mean, that's going to kind of round things off for Champs. I think I'm so excited to see what happens tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely incredible. And yeah,
remember, make sure you post who you got winning.
Yeah, please do post who you have
if you
winning
made it this far.
The whole thing, the whole season. Who is your champ? Let us know, and I'm going to read out the people who are right and give you a little bit of cred in next episode. But I'll tell you what, we're going to seal the deal there on Champs. Yeah. We will let you know what we think next week when it's all done.
I'm excited.
It's going to be done next week. Crazy. But that being said, let's move on.
I said this yesterday.
Another game.
I'm going to say it again.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you.
Oh, thanks.
I'll say it again at the end of the season.
You're so sweet.
It probably is a little bit more corny because it's the second time around. You
remembered you said
of
that
course, I remember to say because I meant it.
That was cute.
Because I said, we wrapped up the Call of Duty talk, and I said, now that we're the regular season.
I had no idea. I was ready to move on.
The regular season officially being done, you crushed it.
You're so cute.
Absolutely crushed it.
Thank you.
And I think that this year,
tried hard.
I know you did. You try your hardest every time, and that's what I really, really respect that about you. And I think this year, being in it a lot longer and the format, not the format, but the season being laid out with being online and everything, I think people got to really appreciate how awesome you are, and you got to really connect way more this year.
Yeah, it's hard when people get to know you.
Yeah.
They're getting to know you. I'm daft. I'm goofy. But people learn to.
I'm sure the Popeye analogy told everyone that who didn't already know that.
I mean, it's just if you watch broadcast, it's just 100%. There. But I just, it's been really good. I love the season. I love the people I work with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I absolutely love them so much. Like, shout out Rick, shout out Pia, shout out Michael, shout out everyone, Jacques, Nameless.
Yeah.
Stud, Lando, Miles.
Everyone.
Just love you guys so much. All just incredible people.
I'm really proud. I'm really, really proud of you.
Oh, thank you, baby.
Because you guys
shout out you. Thanks for being the best support in the whole world. Anyway,
relax.
Oh my God, why are we having a speech?
Because I want to say
I haven't won champs.
No, listen. I know you haven't won champs, but listen.
I want to thank
because you work so hard. This is the last thing I'm going to say about it. You work incredibly hard at what you do. Yeah, and that's the side of it that people don't see.
I'm about to do a VO after this.
I know you are.
Champs.
I know you are. But yeah, and that goes to a lot of the not to a lot, to everyone that is working there. You guys work so hard and put a lot of work in behind the scenes that people don't see. They only see the broadcast. And you've always been that way, so I'm not proud of you and that you worked harder, because you've always just been probably the hardest worker that I know. But it was a great season and you guys crushed it. Anyway.
You're so sweet. I love you.
Love you.
Thank you. Let's move on to something we love.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're going to love even more when we see it in full form. But that is Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
Obviously I had the flight test. It was epic. One of the reasons.
Long ago.
I know. One of the reasons why we were absent. It was a lot going on. But it was awesome.
Was crushing it.
You were crushing it. This is my turn now.
Yeah.
Very proud of you.
Thank you.
The streams were absolutely incredible. I was dual wielding
What a difference a new game makes. From averaging I'd say I probably average 200 to 300 viewers on Halo 5 or MCC to I was averaging 2,000.
I know, that is crazy and so incredible. Was that a real rush for you?
Yeah, it was.
Because isn't that the highest you've ever had?
Yeah, so I hit my most. I actually, funny enough, beat it by 800 viewers. Because I actually thought I hit 2,000 before, and I went back and looked at my stats. There was a website you could see it, and I never have. And awesome. I hit over 2,000 multiple times and hit 2,300, which is now my 23 something is now my max. And it was pretty surreal for sure, because it's been a long time. It's been a long, long time of waiting for a new game. And, I've been trying to do the whole content thing and stuff. And sometimes it's just disheartening of man, you just feel like you can't make any kind of moves. But, I tried to really capitalize on the situation. We hosted the Snakebite Shootout, which went awesome. People loved it. And I loved doing it. And I'm definitely going to do it more. Reminding me of why... Not why I do it, because I love competing, but it really made me feel reminded me how much I actually love the content side of it, And for the first time ever, probably the first time ever for me, I had my max view count at 2,300 viewers. And you know what I'm most proud of?
What?
Is how awesome the chat was.
Yeah.
Because
I was about to ask you, how was it all received?
I work really hard with my stream with, 200, 300 viewers. People know how I run it. And I run it with just try to be positive. And, I'm not perfect. Obviously, I can get negative like everyone else.
Pretty perfect to me.
Thank you. You're biased, but thank you. But, I try to keep it really positive on the stream. And honestly, I kind of do what Nick Merckx does. And I learned a lot from him and how he's around his stream.
Yeah.
Of just cut out the BS and try not to entertain it. And I'm not perfect. I definitely sometimes do. But 2,300 viewers, and it was just positive vibes and people chatting to each other, and really just
That's awesome.
It was because I've had 1,000 viewers a couple times before, and it got it was overwhelming, where I was it's it can get negative and people arguing, and it just it doesn't give you always the best feeling in the world. But this was like really refreshing. I can't explain it. Obviously I've talked to you about this before, but
of course.
It was like,
I could just tell, you know, like I was tuning in, I was dual wielding the broadcast. I was watching CDL because obviously I was working. But then I had you up and I'd every now and then pop in the chat, and like you could just tell you were beaming, you were in your element. Like I was watching, you know, I was like, wow, like you know, you're enjoying this. Like it's not just the game that you were enjoying, you're enjoying the whole experience of, you know, but the potential future and like what is to come. And, you know, obviously it was super refreshing to see you finally having a chance to be involved in Infinite in some way. Yes, it was a very small amount of it. I would literally say probably 3% of what you're gonna get
is actually gonna be.
But you know, it was something. It was something. It had the title on it. It has mechanics of the game in it some way, somehow, potentially getting tweaked, all sorts of stuff getting finessed and tweaked, obviously sensitivity, etc. It's all being done. I heard the settings were mental, by the way.
The settings?
Yeah. I heard you could customize settings like crazy.
Oh, yeah. That's like most games now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like beyond normal, but okay,
nah,
maybe not. I heard
like,
something quite extreme.
There's like, I mean, it's quite in detail for sure, but I wouldn't say it's anything that we haven't seen now in a lot of games, like Call of Duty and
maybe I was misinformed.
Apex. And, well, no, because the customization for your Spartans and your in-game stuff is insane. Is insane.
That's cool.
But in terms of settings, it's more than what Halo has seen, but I wouldn't say it's new in terms of video games.
Okay.
You know? Gotcha.
So overall then, how did you receive it? You know, what did you think of the mechanics? How did you like the feel of the game? What is your overall kind of like what would you say your takeaway, if you had to like really kind of sum it up into a takeaway of this first flight test? What would you say?
Loved it. Literally loved it.
Like in detail, you know what I mean? Like, what about it would you take away from it?
It was just refreshing.
Like, this is bad. This is great. This needs to be changed. Blah blah blah.
I try to like look at it the best way I can and not be too critical, because we're on like a 3-month-old build to like what they're on now.
Yeah, so like, not technically the new engine.
Yeah, so there's like flaws and all kinds of stuff, but overall it's just fun. Like the game felt really smooth in terms of like a movement standpoint. The game moves slower with like the sprint, like you're not moving super fast, which is obviously a concern for Halo's people just zooming across the map, which is what people didn't like about Halo 5. Well, I shouldn't say didn't like, but some people didn't like about Halo 5. So this is a good like happy medium, I feel like. The aim assist got tuned down a lot, and I am so happy because...
Do you reckon that's to stay?
Yeah, I think it'll probably be tweaked a little bit up if I had to imagine, but at the same time, I hope they don't, because
actually leaves room for genuine skill level and skill
basically what's happened now in Halo in terms of like the shooting aspect of the game. Aim assist is so broken and controllers are so broken to the point where everyone is the best player you've ever seen. Every player that shoots is the best player you've ever seen. And some of that is to do with the fact that we're playing really old games. So people understand positioning more than other people. People understand positioning more than they would have year 1 of a game. You know what I mean? Like we're on year 14 of Halo 4 or Halo 3, sorry. If you don't understand how to play like narrows by now, you're probably not a professional player.
Even I know how to play narrows.
Exactly.
Legit.
No, but like, so you get the point though. So like, they tune down the aim assist, and I hope it stays that way, because not only will map positioning, not only will the people be rewarded who learn the game the fastest, but you'll also be rewarded if you actually just can shoot like really well. The major concern for me so far is, with all that talk on auto aim being toned down a lot, the BR still felt really easy to use. So I'm a little bit concerned that it's going to be too strong, and it's going to be kind of the opposite of what I'm talking about. Like everyone's going to be
consensus based on like Matt and everyone you played
everyone
with?
Said the BR. It was just like automatic force, but we didn't get to play PvP with BRs.
Right.
So
pistol?
It was pistol and assault rifles, which I think when we play competitive play, I think we're going to be BR starts. Right. So I'd really love to see.
So that was something that you didn't really get to indulge in.
No, so we didn't get to like test that. So even though like it felt that way, but it's like then the question is like, did it feel that way because the other guns have such little auto aim that when you pick it up, you're like, oh, this is a melt machine. But if you give everyone the same gun,
that's kind of annoying, because like from your perspective, that's almost like a tease.
Because
you're like, I already know this is not something we're starting with. So it's almost like you don't get to actually fully experience what it's going to be like.
PvP was not nearly as enjoyable.
Only an hour and a half, right?
Yeah, it was either 2 hours or an hour and a half that it was live. But PvP was not nearly as enjoyable as it could have been because it was assault rifle and sidekick starts, which I'm not knocking it. It's like I think that's gonna be the social settings basically. But then what ended up happening because of that is like, you know, there were only 2 or 3 maps, sorry. And what ended up happening is like whoever got the rifle was cooking because you couldn't shoot. You know, it was like you're beaming.
That'd
everyone
be gunning for it.
Gunning.
I'd be gunning.
You would be
like, help me.
Oh, I thought you were saying the opposite. I thought you were saying the opposite. You'd be gunning and like you got it and you're
I'd be gunning for it.
Oh
like,
yeah,
help me any way I can. No. Like so, now I can be average.
That's why PvP, even though it was really fun, it wasn't the full dose of what it can be. But that's not a bad thing.
Was that like more like, you know, this almost sounds like greedy / ungrateful, but let's just be honest over here. You know, you've been waiting a long time for this. Was that better or worse that you got to play PvP like that?
It was better. It was better. I mean?
Yeah, okay, that's good.
It was better because there was a chance that it wasn't even going to happen at all. Yeah. Like, and they said
because of the updates and stuff like that, right?
They said if it goes well, we're going to put out PvP, and like it wasn't going well. So like I was like PvP. You were like, I was like, yeah, I was like PvP. I was literally saying on my stream, guys, I don't think PvP is coming. That same day that PvP came out, they put out an update that like broke the game. Like they tried updating the game. I don't know what they were doing. Like I don't know that side of it.
Trying to go a little too far, maybe.
I think they might have just been testing their updates to see how it goes. But basically, they made the game like super choppy.
I mean, to be fair, it's pretty. I know it's not ideal, but it's probably a good time to do it.
No, yeah, I agree. I think, and I even said that on my stream because then they put out another update that fixed it. So it's like, okay, you might have broke the game,
maybe they did it on purpose.
Yeah, maybe
honestly.
You know, who knows? But so I think it was better because it was something.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Well, I like, you know, it's funny. Your mindset is like refreshed.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you are like.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I was super.
I'm refreshed. I've got something. I've got a taste. I've got something that I can hold on to. Now you're looking forward to the next beta. Yeah. You know, that is going to be coming.
Next flight test. Don't call it a beta. Sorry, people get really upset.
Sorry, everyone that's crying right now. Wipe away those tears, honey. You know, your next flight test is coming soon because we all know, like, we're expecting a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
We're expecting a lot of things
holiday
happening
2021.
soon. Yep. So that means one thing. That means the testing has to keep getting done. It's got to be soon.
I think we're going to get one more. If I had to pick, I'd say September.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. I would give it like a month in between to like fix, tweak, get stuff ready, get stuff out, get stuff in an appropriate place where you guys can have a better taste, a better idea. Because hopefully it's
going to be PvP the entire time.
Yeah, well, it should be. And it should be also more true to what you're going to be experiencing.
Especially since it's closer to release.
Yeah, because I think, yeah, exactly. It's closer to release. It should be more true to the experience of what you're going to be actually getting because, you know, you get to actually give your input.
Yeah.
Which then in turn will help. And obviously if there is major inputs or major problems, will help with, you know, actually getting the game out and releasing it. So they need to do that in due time.
Yep. Agreed.
But anyway, very exciting.
It was refreshing, and it reminded me how much I love competing and how much I love the content side of it, especially the content side of it. I know with competing how I've already felt about it. Like, you know, I've just been gearing up and waiting to compete. But the content side of it, you know, it doesn't matter how much you enjoy it sometimes with the content stuff.
Yeah.
It could just feel like the everyday grind, like, you know, playing Halo 3 every day and every day and every day, to where this was like just unbelievably refreshing of like, this is what I've been waiting for. So it just changed my mindset completely, and looking forward to the next one. Well, really excited for you, babe. Really proud of you. Thanks, babe. What an incredible taste of what's to come in the future. And, you know, working really hard for it. We went from 300 subs to 1,000 in 3 days. I know. I to name this, I'm mind blown. Yeah. But not surprised. Yeah. Very, very incredibly good. I just hope with consistency is key. And like, you know, that's what I've been working on. Yeah. And especially like you've helped me a lot with that, with like the content side of it, of drilling and saying to me, like, if you want to do it, you have to be consistent at it, which is something I've always struggled with before. So I'm hoping heading into a new game and new seasons and all that stuff, I have a new perspective, and I'm going to try to really stay true to that for this one. Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, that's going to bring us to the end of Infinite. However, we were written on Twitter
as we are by some of our followers, our wonderful people who tune in. And we got Christina Luatra, who has asked to sneak in a little question. And yes, you may. We're going to sneak it in. So Halo Infinite is going to be huge. We all know that. And as a desk host and a professional player, what is your advice to people who want to break into the scene, not just as a pro player, but as a content creator, streamer, etc.? If you want to cast, be a pro, and be big on the scene, what are, say, 2 pieces of advice from each of you from different parts of the esports scene that anyone can take to heart to get ahead of everyone else? That's a really good question. I mean, I'll probably start on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just because I have touched on this kind of before. Mm-hmm. But I think more specifically, I'll get into the 2 pieces of advice I have. And I always give one of these pieces of advice out, anytime I'm asked how to break into the scene. Because actually, it's a question I get a lot. I actually get in my requested DMs a lot. And I end up most of the time answering, when I get a request like that.
Absolutely.
A legit actual question. My first bit of advice is if that is something that you want to do, whether it be a broadcast, and obviously for me, I'll probably answer more so this into a broadcaster state. You can take the pro player and the streamer, because I think it's something that's really not as prevalent to me. But as a broadcaster or caster, experience is everything to employers. And you may say, well, Lottie, but how do you get experience without getting hired? And how do you get hired without experience? And I understand that it can kind of seem a bit daunting because the 2 come hand in hand, but you make your own experience. So this is something that I say a lot. Go out there and do as much as you possibly can in terms of getting a show reel together, getting, examples, footage of yourself, whether it be going to a Twitch stream, finding some gameplay and casting over it and recording yourself, then having it in like a file and making like a little bit of a mashup video. Learn from the best, copy, make sure you're kind of doing your own thing, but kind of have a little look at what other people are potentially doing as well. But getting that footage is so important, gathering that kind of potential experience that you've created for yourself, showing them what you can do is super, super important. They're not just going to give you a chance right off the hook if you kind of can't really show them what you can do. And if anything, by doing that, you're already practicing. It's very hard to practice unless you're actually doing it for real. So that is the best way you can possibly practice, is casting over other games. You can also go to some of the smaller orgs or smaller TOs, and you can ask to cast. You can ask to get some experience. You may get paid for it, you may not get paid for it, but at the end of the day, it's something that's super enjoyable, and it's going to get you the experience that you need to provide that for future employers. That is something that's really, really important, I think, when getting into it as a broadcaster or caster. And then the other thing I would say is just like knowing what you're doing. There is one thing about, there's one thing actually doing it, and there's another thing about, not actually knowing what the hell you're talking about. That's super important for me. Being well versed in something that you're supposed to be a professional at. You're supposed to be a professional analyst or a broadcaster or a host or a caster. No matter what you are in esports, you are giving information, you are educating, and it's really important that you can do so, and corresponding to the title that you're working in. It's really important that you can actually stay up to date. You know what you're doing, you know where you're at, you know the format, you know how the tournament is organized, you know everything that you possibly can about it so that you can educate appropriately. And, with that being said, I think that also comes hand in hand with diction and the way you speak and the words that you use and your mannerisms and your tone and the way that you come across on camera. All of those things are really important to work on. And really, you can't work on them until you put a camera in front of yourself, whether it be your phone, whether it be your webcam, whether it be a professional camera. It doesn't matter what it is, but get in front of a camera, start talking to it about anything, bring up some topics in your esport that you love, talk to the camera, watch it back, and look at some of the things that you do. And this is my big tip here. There are things called crutches in broadcasting. I used to have one. My one was absolutely. I used to say it all the time. It was my broadcasting crutch every time I didn't know what to say or I needed a pause to think or process. And I would say something like, blah, 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 blah. And, absolutely, it was great. And then somebody would answer back and I'd say, yeah, absolutely. Because it was just like, it was like a rinse and repeat. Very easy way for me to get back into the conversation. And everyone has one. Everyone has a crutch. And as a broadcaster, to be a really good broadcaster, you need to eliminate it.
Yeah.
And I did that. I'm not saying that I'm a really good broadcaster, but it's something that I wanted to work on and I noticed and I didn't like. And that was from watching myself back. Really important to do that. Review your own footage. Figure out what's annoying about you before anyone else does. That's the best thing.
It's funny you say that, because a lot of people, I bet, who are trying to be talent, like, might not actually listen to their own voice back. Because, like, you know, most people, and I know this goes for me, when I listen to my own voice, like, I hate it. Like, absolutely hate it. But, you know, when you're trying to work in the broadcast industry and be a talent for a game or a TO or whatever, you got to know what you're saying. And you got to know how you sound and what you're saying. And the only way to do that is by studying yourself.
And before anyone comes to me and says, banger is my crutch, it's a catchphrase, and I love it, okay? And it's not a crutch.
That's different, because you do it on purpose.
I do it on purpose. It tilts people, and it also amuses people, and I love both of those things.
Yeah.
So, it's you know, but that, honestly, those are the best bits of advice that I can give you, because I think the first one helps you get into the scene, and I think the second one helps you become a better version of what you're trying to achieve here.
That's great advice, LVP.
So
especially because esports is one of the rare cases where you actually can work on your own talent and your own ability every day. You know, go to streams and hit your screen record and talk over it and just keep working on it. Not many other, like, what would be the industry, like broadcast industry, like, not every single place has that same opportunity.
No, agreed.
You know, so
yeah, it's a little bit more difficult, I would say, in different industries, but this one is it is very fruitful with opportunity. It's a growing industry.
Different games.
Always needing, you know, different personalities and broadcasters and casters. But those would be my two bits of advice, even though they're a little bit more elaborated. But unfortunately, it's not a simple game, this.
Yeah,
so
great advice.
What about you from a pro player standpoint?
So mine is going to be simple.
Okay,
so it's a little bit different.
Okay, no problem.
From a pro player standpoint, you have to play. And you have to play a lot. And you have to probably, like, when it comes to matchmaking, get to the highest level. If you're not the highest level, you're not going to be recognized as a high caliber player for the most part.
How often would you say?
Nonstop. It needs to be anytime a pro player, not like your stream sniping pro players, but you need to, like, say they do what they did in Halo 5, which is like they had like champ rank. Like champ rank was the highest.
Yeah.
You want to be as high as possible in champ rank to where you're matching pro players consistently.
And having good odds.
And having good, and you're winning games and everything. And by the way, it's great practice, because if you're not a pro player, that's a great way to practice against pro players.
Yeah.
Is by doing
that.
You
get noticed. Frosty got noticed by doing that.
Yep. Frosty got noticed by doing that. He matched lethal and nonstop back in like Halo 3 MCC.
Guy had like 40 plus kills, something like that.
No, that was when he teamed with Matt. That was like the game that he teamed with Matt and I.
In the 8s.
In the 8s, yeah. But like a lot of players now get recognized through matchmaking because they're just disgusting, and people are like, oh wow, that's good. Like, because now there's so many eyes constantly. Like when I'm streaming, that's what I'm saying. It's not stream sniping. Like, you're not purposely matching me and like cheating or whatever.
Yeah.
But like you get to a super high rank to where, like, you know, go back to it's me possible. Streaming Infinite with 2,500 people or 2,300 people watching. If I play against you in like high level matchmaking and you're insane and I'm like, oh my, like, Jesus Christ, like this guy, oh man, oh, this guy, whatever, all of a sudden you'll start seeing more opportunities pop up to where if you were like low level matchmaking, just trying to compete on like lesser teams. And it's no offense if you try to play with like an open bracket team, because I still think that's the way to go. But in terms of like, if you want to separate yourself, getting as high of a level as you can to match pro players and then perform really well, there's no other way to get recognized better than that. Yeah, overall.
I completely agree with you. And I think also, if you're talking specifically to do with Halo have a fantastic grassroots program. They have a great amateur scene. I'm sure it's going to be no different when Infinite comes out. I'm sure they will have something up their sleeves. But when I've been a part of Halo, I know so many amateurs that have been able to come and compete. They obviously pay for a pass, they pay for a chance to go. But if that's something that you're really, really serious about, going to tournaments, playing online tournaments that are available to you, it's super important. Don't miss them. Get there. If you're that good and you want to be that good and you want to get the experience as a pro player and be seen, those are fantastic ways to be seen.
Yeah, it also just takes time. Like, not everyone is like Royal 2 who goes to 2 events and then lands on a pro team. You know, me, it took me like 8 events or 10 events. And like, that's a lot of money. You know, I was a young kid, so it was out of my parents' pocket and my pocket, but it was a lot of effort to go to these events and to try to do it. But like, I knew it was possible. And I just knew I had to land on the right team for it to happen, especially back then. And like, that's kind of what I started doing. And then eventually, you know, it just took off for itself. I think the other question is about content creation and streaming. I think the biggest piece of advice I can give for that is don't get discouraged by it, because I think that no matter what, when you're doing content creation, it's so difficult now with content creation because so many people are doing the exact same thing. And the reality of it, the only way to do it and to do it for a living is by starting and just slowly building up and building up and building up. Some have it easier than others. Like me, I have an easier opportunity to build an audience because I'm a pro player. But if you're not a pro player and just solely focused on content, you need to, one, come up with ways to be different in terms of your person. You could just be yourself and be your own personality, or it could be you're doing something different to what pro players are trying to do. Like, pro players are trying to get to the highest rank, and that's probably where their views are going to come from. Your views don't necessarily have to come to that. Your views can come from people who want to watch campaign or funny videos on Halo and stuff like that. So I think that in terms of content creation, don't give up on it. Find what works for you and what you enjoy, and then understand that even if you are putting in a lot of work and it seems like it's not paying off, you are always one day away from something breaking out for you, because that happens to every streamer that there basically ever has been. Is most of them, especially now, like the top guys, Nick Merckx, Summit, you know, Ninja, all these guys, they started like at the beginning. Right? Like Nick Merckx posted, he used to get like, he's the biggest streamer on Twitch now. He used to get like 100 viewers playing Gears of War. And then it was like 500 viewers playing Call of Duty. And then all of a sudden it was 10,000 out of nowhere on Fortnite. And then all of a sudden now it's 50,000 on whatever he does. And the reason why that happened for him is because he never slowed down and he just kept going. And he knew it's what he loved to do. And that goes for a lot of these other guys who are now top streamers. Tough to do, tough scene to get into, tough thing to make a career now because there's so many people trying to do it. But if it's what you want to do, find the time, make it happen.
Yeah, I gotta say that's fantastic bits of advice. I think to like add on to that as well, I think you got to put the groundwork in, you know, figure stuff out, figure out the algorithms, figure out, you know, learn. If you're doing your own editing, learn how to edit properly, learn how to edit well, learn how to
do thumbnails
hashtag properly,
you know. What you're tagging your videos has.
Exactly.
There's all kinds of different stuff that can push you in the right direction. 100%. And you need to never accept that you know everything.
Look into shorts. They're fantastic ways to get noticed by people. You know, just little bits of groundwork that you can really do to try and elevate yourself and get yourself to the next step, the next stepping stone. And I think the last thing is, if you're not enjoying it, and what the content you're putting out is unenjoyable to you because you're not getting to where you want to be fast enough, then it's probably not for you. I think the dedication, the consistency is not for everyone, but if you're enjoying putting content out, if you're enjoying the small audience that you're building and hopefully getting to that next level, then that is where the passion comes in. And usually that's when the biggest breaks happen, because you are really happy with what you're doing and that's rubbing off on the masses. So that's
and this podcast is an example of that.
Yeah, we just love doing it.
Love doing it. Like, we did it for the moment.
We are thrilled to have an average of 500 views per video. Like, we're thrilled. We're loving it.
Mind blown.
We are. But we're doing this because we enjoy it.
No sponsors, no money, nothing like that. No. We do it because we love it, and honestly, I hope it becomes something.
And look, if it gets to that point, bloody great.
Yeah, but
that's
if it doesn't,
awesome.
I had a great time doing it.
Yeah, and I'm still having a great time doing it, and it's great. And it's like, you know, we're doing this because we enjoy it. We're doing this because we have these conversations on the regular.
No matter what.
So why not record it? Why not sit down and just record it for you guys?
Absolutely.
And not only that, something that I knew I'd enjoy this part of it, but I didn't think I'd enjoy it this much. But the interactions that we have with you guys at home, makes everything worth it.
Yeah.
If there's a day that I don't want to come and record, or I'm tired, or I'm stressed, or I've had a bad day on a Wednesday or a Tuesday, or a Monday when I'm recording, you know, you guys make it better thinking like, I know that you're going to talk to me back. I know that I'm going to see responses. I know that you're going to also tune in and give us your say on this topic. And that to me just makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah.
You know, it's awesome. And I bloody love coffee. So it's great.
It's very true.
And you.
Yeah.
And esports.
Yeah.
But tell you what, with that being said, folks, we actually What time is it?
It's like an hour and 39 minutes or something.
Just under what was yesterday. But I tell you what, I'm absolutely fine with it because guess what? I had a blast doing it honestly this time around as well. It's been really good. It sucked that we couldn't get it out this morning for you guys.
And just the past 2 weeks in general.
I went to bed stroppy last night, didn't I? I was very annoyed. Very annoyed with it. But it's okay. Hopefully, cross fingers. If you're hearing this, it worked.
Yeah, back to the normal grind now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I appreciate you guys sticking with us.
Next week, we're going to have a video for you guys as well. If you are one of our YouTube subscribers and tuning in on YouTube, the visuals will be back. If not, and you're just a listener on Spotify or iTunes, we love you. We appreciate you lending us your ears every single week. And honestly, it's lovely to have you guys tuning in as well. And if you want to have a say as well, because obviously that's not really a platform to actually comment on kind of the podcast channels, then please be sure to tweet us. We have all of our information linked in the description. Let us know. Tweet us at 2XTheGrind. Give us your opinions, your thoughts, your feelings, anything else you want. Any questions. We're here to answer them. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've had a wonderful time listening. I hope you guys enjoy Champs coming up this week. So excited to see what tomorrow is going to bring. Let us know your thoughts and feelings as well in the comments as it's happening if you want to, because I'll be reading them. So yeah, it'll be absolutely amazing. So we're going to quickly rate our coffee. Cafe Bustelo Espresso ground coffee. I'm giving it a 7.5. I think it's a pretty decent espresso all round. Little bit on the bitter side. Espresso is quite bitter, but there's not really much more to it than that. It's kind of a full-bodied, kind of bitter espresso. Does the job nicely. 7.5 for me.
I'm doing the same. 7.5.
7.5.
We talked about this yesterday.
We did talk about this yesterday. It was why I'm very quick to be able to judge it. But
it's a good cup of coffee that you can pick up. I mean, I don't necessarily know.
Don't think you can be disappointed with it.
Yeah,
you can't be disappointed.
It's a nice espresso that you can pick up, at least in New Jersey, in most supermarkets and grocery stores.
Yes.
I don't necessarily know if it's everywhere, but
I don't know.
But nonetheless, for us, it's a really good, quick espresso that you can make and be happy with.
Indeed it is. Well, with that being said, we're going to love you and leave you. Thank you much for tuning in. We love you so much. Cannot wait to see you guys next Wednesday. Back to regular programming as per usual. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful Champs. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you think below. And as always, stay on the grind.